Hi everybody. Forgive the pink hands, I've been dyeing, made a mess. It won't come off on this, that's fine. What I am wanting to do is get some more of my kits online, and to do that I have to make them up. And this one's been sitting here ready for me to make one up for ages, because then I have to photograph it, etc. Make sure it all works nicely. And so that's what we're going to do. There we go. And look at that colour palette. Do you like that? I do. Beautiful. So on one of these we have matching threads that I choose, including a metallic one. And then I pop in little bits and pieces of different matching yarns, interesting things. See? Look at this one. Beautiful. And that. And then I have fabrics, I have bits of lace that I've dyed to match. See, all kinds of different things. I've stamped that one, so we've got a little bit of that. So a bit of trim, but I'll work it out. So right now I'm going to pop the trim bits over there. And what I'm going to look at is the fabrics. So I try and make sure that there's different kinds of beautiful fabrics, but they match the theme, you see. So there we are. So it'll come with a calico base like that. And what you start with is you think, what do I want to do? Is it going to be a book, or is it going to be a flat piece? You know, so if it was a book, I'd divide it in half like that. And then I would think, you know, that's one side, that's the other, and be careful how I place it a little bit so I don't have anything too much that's bulky here on the spine. So I don't know what I'm doing yet, so I'm just gonna start. That's what I do. And yes, some pieces fray, but this is a beautiful pearly colour. I'm not really too bothered. I'll let it fray if it wants, or I'll cover it. Either way, nice. So I try and make sure I've got some prints and some plains and all different wonderful things. But look at this. This is sort of like, these are integral. These are my bits that tell me it's tropical. That's my theme. It's going to be tropical. And if I have these threads, I just do that. There we go. Look at that. Isn't it nice? So it's all about working out. So I've got these, and I've got this one, which is beautiful as well. How will I organize it so I've got a bit of everything everywhere? Don't know yet. But that's what you do. You just keep playing, and that's the fun of it. Sometimes we just don't know. I don't know that I want to put those two together. I could pop it there. Look at this one here. Fabulous. Don't know where I want it yet. Pop it there for now. Sometimes you need contrast. See how there's a gold colour here? Well, that's why I chose something like that and the plain. So I've got little pieces there left, and I've got this one. Well, you know I love these. I could use that big one, or I can cut it into pieces and do different things with it. So maybe I'll do that. So we could do that to the edge of one. Have a nice edge. See? We could have that go over something, over the edge. That doesn't matter. Let's do that. What have we got now? What if I use that to go over that edge? That really is quite pretty. I'm going to send you up a little bit there. We're getting there. And then I start dragging out other ones. So I can use this as is. I can put little interesting, not tear, but pull apart little interesting shapes in it. I can draw threads out of it. What I'm sort of essentially doing is sort of making my own lace, if you see what I mean. So I could pop that in somewhere. Now sometimes it works to put something underneath a light one like that and you can see it. Sometimes you want that over. That's lovely. So let's get to the end of the fabrics first. Okay, what have we got here? And I quite like having that background there that I can do different things with. And let's not forget we have little bits of lace, etc. And all kinds of trims. You know, it's going to work. It's going to work. It's lovely colours and they match very nicely. So I'll play around and I'll rearrange and, you know, think about what edges I might want to cover, or do I want to trim that, or do I like it underneath showing, and work out a bit of a plan. And then what I do is I grab my glue stick here, any glue stick, it's not permanent, and then just give it a bit of a hit underneath, just to sort of tack it in place. You can also do it, but you know, that's what I do. But you can also use a pin, you know, and if you want, you can do a grid of tacking stitch up and down, and that would hold it in place. I'll come back to you when I've decided. So just showing you what I have done so far. And by no means it has to stay that way. Can you see how I split this one in two, just so I had a little bit of the same color somewhere else, and just balanced it. And now I'm just seeing where my lace may go. I might shift him, I don't know. But let's not forget that we've got these things. If I want to bring a bit more gold in, there it is there. Maybe I want to couch that down there so it's covering all those edges. Plenty of other things to come in yet, and we're going to have a lot of fun with this, I think. You know, isn't that lovely? So when you do get it and you think you might like it that way, take a photograph. That will be a great thing to refer back to, especially if, you know, it's a bit hard to keep them all there whilst you're gluing or tacking it down, and that really does help to have it to refer to and say, oh yeah, I liked that better. Okay. Right, well, I've got it semi how I want it. That'll do me. I'm remembering that I have all of these things yet to come in. I've left some bits that have got nothing on, that's fine. And I've used the glue, it'll dry clear, but I've got it on there. And so now it's glued enough. I mean, I've just put a dab, you see, underneath. But it's enough for me to pick that up now and do that, and it's not all going to fall to pieces. So that allows me a little bit of time to get my initial stitches down, which is what I will be doing next. So in the pack we have, these are the ones I've chosen so far. I think they're going to be nice. How do I choose? I like a metallic one. I went gold because we've got goldy colours. Aqua and green. If you'll note, these are colours that are in there. I could go a nice dark aqua if I wanted to bring it in, but it's quite dark as it is. I've got a nice light green, you know, so just different ones that I think are going to blend in. Probably they're there. And a neutral one's good. See, that's that colour. So that's good too. You can put it on your darker areas so it shows up. So it has to be, you know, light, dark and mid. And an accent, which we've got this lovely gold. So right now I'm just going to start with a neutral kind of colour, and I'll use maybe 1 or 2 strands from the stranded cotton, separate them out, put a knot at the end, come up from underneath and just do a running stitch. It's just going to go through
And whilst it goes through, I'm going to try and catch down a few pieces at once. Not doing anything too fancy, just a tacking stitch or a running stitch that I can leave there at the end if I want. You know, here again, I'm sort of turning it and going back and making sure that I get at least one edge of those pieces above it. You know, so eventually I'll cover them all, but that's a good way to start, to tack through quite a few at once in that first pass with those first threads. So going through to the back, doing a couple of stitches and then ending off. And here I'm looking at what could I do here. Okay, well I could, it doesn't always have to be a straight stitch. I do some crosses there. That's quite good to use when you have something that's might be a difficult edge, like a fraying edge or something that holds a lot more down. So, but here we go. I'm just doing again down through. You know, I might hit a certain area where I think, oh, I'll try something else. Just don't let it worry me too much. But at the same time as I'm sort of tacking down, I'm thinking, oh, okay, I've got this much left on my thread. I might just do a few other bits. And that's how we start, getting it tacked down, ready for the next stage.
Just put a single strand of green on here at the moment, and I'm thinking I might couch something on one of these threads. So I just like to go with the flow and do what I like, do what I feel like. I don't feel like I have to tack it all down, because really a lot of it is, and those bits will stay there until I get to them. Sometimes I just fancy doing something. So this is this beautiful ribbon, and I am going underneath, and then I'm just doing a little bar smaller than the ribbon. We'll pull the ribbon in, see, and you get this lovely little lolly wrapper kind of affair. So a couple of stitches on top of each other, you know, and then I would go underneath and up again a little bit further along, so that I'm ready to do the same. And I will just do the same here. Now I could do a nice straight line if I wanted. I'm partial to curves. But that's really going to add some shine to our design. I quite like that. Yeah, so I'm not concerned about being straight or particularly neat. This is a naive kind of style of sewing, and you really don't need to get yourself too worried if you're not perfect in your stitching. It's the whole idea is to have fun and be creative and just have a good time with it. So that couches beautifully this yarn or ribbon. You can do that with a lot of different things. I just thought it would look really nice here. And you see, if you do a big stitch, then it doesn't couch it in. We'll do a few big stitches. You see, it's just like a ladder then. And finish up with some small ones again. Or you might decide just to stitch through it all the way down. Doesn't matter. It's totally up to you. So this time, instead of doing a little bar across it and then travelling underneath and doing another bar, I'm just going to do a running stitch through it. And that way I can direct it any direction I want quite easily. I go down here. See, I'm using a matching colour for this. That helps to have it not show up. There. And now I might go and catch some of that in. So over here, catch the edge of that lace. And that underneath, we need to do that. So we'll go down this way. I quite like things that meander from place to place. It helps draw your eye into the design. If you weren't comfortable doing a curve, you can draw it in and then stitch. You could use the bottom of a glass or a pill bottle or something. Just wondering if we can get something like that in there. That'd be lovely. Might do something later with that, but I've got it in place. I've got it where I wanted it, so that's quite good. Let's not forget we got all of these. To plan to use them somewhere nice. I love the colour blends, really I do. Or it could be something that curves. It could just be a straight line that goes like that. Right across. See, we're mixing it up. Right, I've just put a single thread of this aqua on. I've put a knot at the bottom and I'm going to pull it through here. I'm thinking I'm going to lay this ribbon here on top of that ribbon there, because I think it might look nice together. And maybe I'll split them later on, I don't know yet. But I just thought I'll start here. I just poke that little end there neatly under that. And give that a little stitch. Right, that's a bit neater. Not that I'm really into neat. Right, so we're going to use this across somehow. And this one didn't even, it could meander across it. It could do a lot of things. But let's just start and see what we end up with here. So I'm just going to go underneath and come up and just take it over that little piece of ribbon. Just making sure I catch it in places where it's going to stay there. This would have looked very nice straight, but I have to play. I love this little piece of yarn because it can be so many things. But it looks really good couched down. doesn't it? Looks nice. Yep. So I might do that. Does that make me a lazy sewer or somebody that plans ahead? I don't really plan ahead. That's not right at all. But I do, yeah, I do like to think of what I can do at the same time. And so I'm holding down several things. I'm getting the edges of these things held down. I'm sewing down this ribbon underneath. And I'm also got this nice, interesting wavy line. Aren't you beautiful? And get the other side, just a little tiny stitch over that to hold that. I can cross them over. See, like this, it's turned. I like that too. I'll go here and do the same. So start looking at your yarns and ribbons and things and see what more you could do with them. So before I get carried away with my stitching, I like to figure out how I can use these bits of yarn and ribbony kind of things, novelty yarns, and how I can use them to hold down and edges, you know. So I didn't finish the end of this yet. That's okay. We've got this. I like this because I like it when you twirl it. Look at that. Couch that down. Love it. And I've still got you. Might cut you in half. And I think I'll use some there to go across all of that, but I like it to cover up that gap there. Push that up. There. That would be nice. Another little pin to hold it where I want it to be whilst I'm figuring out where to put these last major pieces.
So now that I have all of those pieces in place, what I end up doing is then thinking about any bits I've missed, maybe incorporating some more fancy stitches. I can do some blanket stitch or some fly stitch or some chain stitch. You know, you can really be quite creative in your slow stitching and just use this background as a canvas where you can practice all kinds of stitches. I like not working to a pattern, you know, just letting it flow from piece to piece, doing the bits that you want in the order that you want. It really is very freeing. I'll be including a booklet on different stitches and how you can use them, how you do it in this kit for those that are getting it, but you can make your own version as well, following the principles of colour and balance like I've shown.
Well, I've just wrapped it around my iPad at the moment so you get the idea of what it would look like if it was a book cover. Pretty snazzy.
If you are interested in purchasing this kit, it should now be available in my Etsy shop. So we'll leave it there, and thank you for watching as I planned out this little project. That was great. If you have liked, don't forget to press like. If you haven't subscribed and you would like to, don't forget to do that as well. And then I'll see you for the next video. Thanks again for watching.